This is Ross the Fig Boss. In today's video, I'm going to talk about why your figs are falling off your fig tree. Why are your figs dropping from your tree? We're going to talk about in today's video actually 4 reasons why your figs might be falling off. 1, your fig tree is being underwatered. It's not getting enough moisture. It's not being pollinated / maybe you've chosen the wrong fig variety. You might have a pest called black fig fly we're going to talk about. And then also the last thing is maybe your fig tree is actually unhealthy and declining in health. So let's talk about each of them, and that way you guys can diagnose your own fig tree. If you are still unsure at the end of this video, comment down below and I'll give you my recommendation as to what I think is one of the 4 reasons. The main reason why a lot of people are seeing figs fall from the tree is that they're not getting enough water. How do you know if your fig tree is getting enough water? Well, if you see that all the leaves on your tree are droopy, not just the upper leaves, but I mean all of them. If you see that, approach the tree, inspect the soil, put your hand in the soil, maybe get a moisture probe, and then finally, if it's in a container, lift the pot. If you then water it in and the leaves all of a sudden perk right back up, well, you know a lack of moisture was the problem. Now, unfortunately, if you don't water your fig tree quick enough, well, that causes stress. And that stress can cause 3 different things to happen to your fig tree. 1 is that your fig tree can actually drop its leaves. Some varieties will favor dropping their leaves during times of a lack of soil moisture rather than dropping their figs. Some varieties like Celeste, I know a lot of you guys are growing Celeste out there. The soil dries out, Celeste will immediately drop its figs and actually will favor keeping its leaves. So some varieties just behave a little bit different. Others will actually keep the figs on the tree, but the figs will actually take damage and they won't ripen properly. You'll see that the figs look a bit weird on the outside, and then when you open them up when they're finally ripe, about half the fig is ripe and the other half isn't. The other thing that can happen if your fig tree doesn't get enough moisture is something called leaf scorch. So that stress, as I mentioned, it can cause leaf drop and also fruit drop, but your leaves may not be happy. And once they take damage like this, it is what it is. You can't fix it. The only thing is you can hope for is new, healthy, very vibrant green growth. So you're probably thinking now, well, how much do I water my fig tree and how often do I water it? Well, I water my fig trees here in containers. They're in 3 or 5 gallon size pots. That's like a 10-inch by 10-inch or 12-inch by 12-inch container. I water these every day, and I water them about 1/4 of a gallon to 1/2 a gallon, depending on how many leaves they have. Trees that are planted in the ground, it's the same story. If they don't have enough soil moisture, maybe you haven't added mulch, maybe you haven't watered the tree, maybe you're having a drought this year, well, it's gonna need moisture. One of the things you guys can do to make watering completely foolproof is to set up an irrigation system that's then connected to an automatic irrigation timer. This irrigation system makes it so that my fig trees are being watered every single day for the same duration, at the same time, and the same amount of water, so that I can walk away, even go on vacation, knowing that my fig trees are getting water. So I'll put a link to actually setting up an irrigation system in the description, all the different things you guys might need. It's actually really simple. So the second most common reason is actually a lack of pollination / you've chosen the wrong fig variety. What you need to know about fig trees is that there's 4 main types of fig trees. What I mean is if you actually get viable seeds that are pollinated and you germinate those seeds, from that seed will be 4 different types of figs that can germinate. One is called the common fig. The common fig actually doesn't require any pollination. So that's the kind that we want and that you want when you're buying a fig tree. How do you know if it's common? Well, you should find out from the seller and do your due diligence. I get questions from people in other countries, especially parts of Asia and the Middle East. The sellers there don't know what they're doing, and they're selling unsuspecting buyers fig trees that were germinated from seeds. Well, people in the United States are not propagating fig trees from seed, they're propagating them from cutting. They take a cutting off of a tree that is known to produce fruit without pollination. Now, there is one exception. We have a variety called Desert King here. It's actually a popular variety all over the world, but you can see that this Desert King fig is what's called a San Pedro type. So this is the second type of fig. And what this means is that San Pedro types will require pollination of their main crop to ripen properly. However, if these were Breba, meaning they formed on last year's growth, they would not require pollination. And because Desert King is such an amazing, prolific, and tasty Breba producer, it's grown all over the United States. So this is the one exception you'll find in American nurseries of a variety that actually requires some sort of pollination. And you can see here, this is the main crop. It's falling off right now. It's changing color, and it's actually rather soft to the touch. So it's getting a bit squishy. Rather, this fig right here and all the figs above it are not at that point in which they're going to fall off the tree and the tree is going to reject them because they haven't been pollinated. So if you're seeing this kind of thing happening on your fig tree, whether it's from an underwatered fig tree or a lack of pollination, this is kind of how it happens. They turn color like this, and then eventually they get soft and they'll fall off. So that's kind of your signal to know that, hey, something's wrong. Let's observe the fig tree and figure out what this problem is before they actually fall off the tree. There's actually a third type of fig called the Smyrna fig. She produces a main crop that does require pollination. In places like the United Kingdom, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Denmark, northern Italy, these are places where people have actually taken fig trees out and already gotten rid of them that do require pollination and put fig trees in their place that do not. But if they're from other places like Greece, southern Italy, the Middle East, and Asia, there's a good chance they might. So again, it's really important to know your buyer. Who are you getting this fig tree from? Have they actually produced fruit? And how have they propagated the fig tree? As I said, the third most common reason is actually a new pest that's been introduced to the United States, specifically Southern California. You can also find it in Asia, where it probably originated, and also parts of Mediterranean and Europe. This pest called black fig fly will actually insert larvae in unripe figs before they're even ripe. The figs will then fall off the tree prematurely, and you'll actually complete the life cycle of that pest. So there's not really a whole lot of information on black fig fly. There's not really a whole lot of solutions just yet. I think one of the best solutions is actually, if you do have a fig tree in Southern California that you see a lot of fruit falling from, pick up all the fallen fruits and dispose of them, because usually the larva is inside those fruits. If you get rid of the larva, you can disrupt their life cycle. And of course, the final reason is actually just having an unhealthy fig tree. Usually unhealthy fig trees, though, are not going to produce fruit to even begin with. So you're not going to see fruit on the tree for it to fall off. But if for whatever reason your fig tree maybe takes a lot of damage, whether that's from hail, maybe you had a lot of windstorms, a hurricane, whatever the case may be, and all of a sudden it starts declining in health, well, your figs may fall off the tree. Maybe your fig tree is being overwatered. If you have your fig tree in a place where there's no drainage, maybe even if in a container, maybe there's no drainage holes. So an overwatered fig tree is not going to be rather healthy, and you're going to start to see actually the leaves start to turn a bit pale. The microbes in the soil are not helping the plant uptake those nutrients, and that's why you're seeing some nutritional deficiencies, which then could lead to figs falling off your tree. So I want to thank you guys here for watching this one. I appreciate it. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Take care.